What's going on today, YouTubers? Welcome to another edition of Walking Reviews. Today we're going to be taking a look at a production knife from a company that I've had on here, enough you'll probably recognize the company as soon as you see it. There it is. So this is a fairly new addition to the Kizer family, the Envoy. So let's go ahead and jump into the specs. This is a relatively slim and small folding knife, and I think the name Envoy kind of fits that description. It does have, some obvious work done here to the handle scales, but I think this primarily serves the purpose of like a gentleman's folder, something you would want to carry if you say had blade length limits in your city, or if you didn't want to scare people with a giant knife but you're still carrying something relatively capable. Blade length is exactly 3 inches, and it is made of CPM S35VN, so a relatively high-end blade steel, although fairly ubiquitous. It's offered in so many knives nowadays that you kind of expect that to be the baseline almost, at least for pricier knives. You can see the Kizer logo here on the show side, along with the model number and the blade steel designation. The blade has that really nice stonewash that Kizer does, sort of a polished stonewash, which is excellent at hiding wear. I've had this one for a while now. I meant to do this review a long time ago when it kind of first came out, but I just got super busy and this kind of ended up going into the back of the pile. But I just started using it again maybe a week ago, and I was like, this one, it's still out there, it's still available, so definitely one worth talking about. On this side you can see the name of the knife, Envoy, and then the name of the designer, Adso. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Does have a really nice edge, as most Kizers do. And for those of you who live in, like I said, cities with blade length limits, it is exactly 3 inches. So usually it's like 3 inches and under is the limit. So this should be legal in those places. You can see it's just flipper deployment, no other method. This has an extremely stiff detent. I was actually pretty shocked when I first flipped it. I was like, holy hell. I was like, did I have my fingers on the lock bar or what's going on? Now this just has probably the strongest detent of any Kizer I've ever handled. And I don't know if that's just mine or if that's a feature among the model, but if you like knives that flip out with authority, this thing is a rocket. So the handles obviously are titanium, and like I showed you before, they have this kind of faux bolster milled out of the top. Really nice shape, simple, sort of like hourglass shape to it. And although the handle length is under 4 inches, it's like 3.9 inches on the handle length. It has just enough room for my hand to get a full grip. Now there's no blade spine jimping or jimping here on the handle, on the back of the handle, but because of that swelling shape of the handle and the little finger groove here, you will get a secure grip. As long as your hands aren't like massive, you should be able to get a 4-finger grip on this knife. There's your blade centering, it's pretty much perfect. This does have, instead of a 3D milled clip, just a titanium spring clip. I'm not 100% sure why they decided to go away from the 3D clips. I guess maybe that was just a designer feature, but it carries extremely low profile. You get almost nothing peeking out of your pocket, which is nice again for settings where you don't really want people to know you're carrying a pocket knife. That's definitely a feature that I like on my knives. So it runs on ceramic bearings, which I guess most Kizers do. Most, if not all, Kizers seem to run on the caged ceramic bearings, and this one is no exception. It also has a ceramic detent, which is located in this steel lock bar insert. There you can see our lockup is at about 40%. Extremely tight lockup, and that probably has a lot to do with how strong the detent is. When that lock bar engages, the blade is pretty much bank vault. That gets used a lot in our hobby, but I would give this one the bank vault classification. It doesn't feel like it would ever go anywhere, even though the blade stock is relatively thin. And it's not like the handles are much thicker themselves. You can see we have down here a quarter length back spacer that wraps around pretty much 3/4 of the way around the bottom. But other than that, it's open construction. You do have the classic stop pin. It's not internal or anything like that. The action is really smooth and really fast, but like I said, this is not going to be a knife that drops closed, both due to the fact that it's a really small and light blade, and the fact that the detent is so strong. I'll show you with the thumb. It still goes full speed with the thumb. This is one of those knives that you really can't not flip. If you're putting enough pressure on the flipper to open the blade at all, it's going to go fully open. This is not a soft detent by any means. Construction is fairly simple: 2 body screws and then the pivot screw, so pretty easy to take apart and put back together. I did disassemble this one for cleaning, as I usually do with Kizer knives. Not that there's anything, they don't tend to come dirty like a lot of Chinese knives can do, but I just prefer my own pivot lubricant and stuff like that. So yeah, relatively small gentleman's folder, extremely lightweight as well, 2.8 ounces. So when you put this in your pocket, you're really not going to know it's there, or it's not going to bother you anyway. Pretty slim profile, skinny. The blade shape is just that it's almost a spear point. You can see how dramatic the drop point is, but it is a drop point blade, and you guys know I'm a huge fan of the drop point blade. Yeah, just a really all-round decent offering from Kizer. I'm not sure about their price point on this one. It's just under 140. It's like 137 brand new, which I would say that's competitive, but there are other options out there that you would want to take a look at that price point, both from Kizer and from competing companies like Riot and We Knives. They might not have something quite this small, but at that price point, the market pretty much starts to open up in the higher end stuff. So would I recommend this for sure for a smaller light duty everyday carry sort of office knife? Absolutely. This is really well made, although if you have many other Kizers, it's probably not going to call out to you. I own a lot of Kizers, and this one just kind of blends into the rest of them. But for those of you just looking for that nice office carry, this is absolutely a contender for that spot. So, all right, guys, I think that covers everything. I don't think I forgot to mention anything. Sorry it's been so long since I posted a video. I have been making them, or trying to make them. Just they've been coming out like garbage, so haven't been posting them. But that hopefully should change. So, all right, guys, take it easy.